Cheers, ladies! Happy Sunday, everybody! Hi, everybody! Welcome to Sunday Sessions number 9. Today, I am with 2 of the 5 Del Mar Divas. We're going to take us on a little cooking journey, and I'm calling it easy peasy cheesy cooking. Does that sound pretty good? Yeah. Sound pretty good? Everybody, my name is Gina, if I have not met you yet before, and I am the cheese whiz and founder here at Venissimo Cheese. And I'm joined today by our chef and manager here at the Del Mar shop, Sarah. Hello, Sarah. And our lovely, I'm going to call her the wine guru, I think was the title that we gave. Guru?
Was it?
Pairing like that. Pairing pro. Pairing pro guru, whatever you want to call her. This is Dawn. And she's going to tell us a little bit of wines that we go with, cheeses that we've picked today for all the cooking and for the eating. And just take you on the whole journey of cheese and kind of fall, right, Sarah?
Yeah, a little bit more cozy meal.
Yeah, cozy meal. I like it. Everybody, here's how it works. If you have a YouTube account, I'm going to be fielding questions. You can use the chat function, and I'll try to answer all the questions as we go. We're going to try to talk as loud as we can. If you have any issues, just let me know via chat. And we hope we can stump Sarah, so send lots of good questions. Why not? No heckling allowed. Okay, if anybody does, I'll let you know. So, I thought maybe, Dawn, you could point out this beautiful cheese plate that we have, so if people want to nosh as they start.
This is one of our little party trays that we send with your meal preparation. We have a Blossom here, which is from Austria, and that is coated in beautiful flowers. We also have a Camembert, which is this one, little white one, little triangle cubes. That's from France, and that's like a nice creamy brie style cheese. And then one of our favorites right this week is the Schnebelhorn.
This is a great word, Schnebelhorn.
Schnebelhorn. It's really good. It's yummy. We found that it's kind of like beefy.
Yeah, kind of meaty,
beef broth, bone broth, maybe.
But creamy. But it was one of our favorite picks this week. So
Schnebelhorn.
Schnebelhorn.
It's one you can't forget.
So enjoy, and you have some of that nice little yummy goodiness there.
And yes, you can eat the blossoms on the Alp Blossom. We didn't just drop that on the floor or anything. Those are meant to be there. So enjoy it and eat it, as Dawn and I will.
Yes.
And poor Sarah, I don't know if she gets anything.
They do add an extra flavor and texture to the cheese.
They do?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can smell it too. It smells really great.
Very good, very good. So Sarah, tell us a little bit, I guess, what everything's in the kit and what should be prepared so everyone can be ready.
Yes, so you had 2 bags. You had a cold bag and a dry bag. If you haven't already, I would pull out the cold bag. Everything in there should start to come to room temperature, especially the stuff we're going to need for dessert. That will be better at room temperature. Since cheese tastes better at room temperature, it'll be easier to kind of build our dessert from there. So for our first course, we're going to do a salad. So you'll have some mixed greens, you'll have a little tub of tomatoes, you'll have balsamic dressing, you'll also have some croutons, and then also a little piece of cheese that's going to go with the salad. This is Sapordo Piage. We'll talk a little bit more about the cheeses later. But for the entree, we're doing a pasta dish, so you'll have the dry pasta in there, you'll have the cheese as well, which is moliterno. You'll also have some olive oil, some cracked pepper, and then a little tub of parsley for garnish. And then for dessert, you should have these little puff pastry shells. You'll also have a tub of whipped St. Angel, and then also some of these orange delights. These are chocolate-covered candied oranges.
You cannot eat those till the end.
Yes.
Save them
Dawn.
for your dessert.
Keep them away from me. They're so good.
So in your bag, I sent a little equipment list, just things you could pull out for the dinner, super small. But so you'll need a cutting board, a knife, you'll need a serving bowl for your salad, you'll need either a cheese grater or a zester or planer, whatever you got to put the cheese on the salad. Any way works, whatever you have. You'll need a large pot for cooking the pasta, a medium saute pan for when we finish our pasta sauce, and then you'll either need a strainer or like a spider to get the pasta out of the water. And then you'll need a heat-safe bowl or measuring cup. That's for saving some of the pasta water. And then you'll just need some serving plates for the pasta and the dessert, and that's all you need. That's it, easy.
Or straight from the pot to the mouth? Perhaps?
No one's trying. We can't.
No one is. And I want to welcome one of our regulars, and you know her well too, Carol. Hello, Carol.
Oh, hi, Carol.
And super apologize about the sound, everybody. It was my bad. I forgot to connect the microphone and bring the microphone today. So we'll try to talk loud without totally yelling, but turn up the volume on the computer.
Yeah.
I got no problem with that.
Okay.
So should we start? Should we start our cooking?
Yes.
Everyone ready?
Yes.
I think, as we go, since stoves are different and people's, quickness with cooking is a little bit different, feel free to pause the video whenever you need to catch up and then keep going from there. But the very first thing that we want to do is turn on the pasta water. This is going to take the longest to boil. I really feel like we can complete most of the meal in the time it takes for the pasta water to boil.
So get that started.
I'm just going to go ahead and turn
We
this
hope
on.
so.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have a big stock pot here, and then don't forget to salt your pasta water. I'm going to put probably about 2-3 tablespoons of salt in the water. It is a lot more than you think it should be, but the water should taste like the ocean that you're cooking your pasta in, because the pasta is really going to absorb that salt, and it's going to allow your sauce to stay tasting like you want it to taste, because if the pasta is undersalted, then your sauce is going to feel like it's undersalted, and then the whole dish is going to start tasting bland. And so that is my biggest tip here, is to heavily salt the pasta water.
I was going to ask that question.
Oh,
Why do you salt the water?
Well, you want to keep your dish nice and seasoned. I mean, pasta is just flour, egg, water, sometimes a little bit of oil. There's no, you could put a little bit of seasoning when you make pasta, but really it's a starch. It's just going to suck up that water. And so if you add a little flavor to the water, it's just going to add more flavor to the pasta. So
Interesting.
good question.
Very good question.
So we're going to start with our salad. So everyone has these little packs of lettuce. I'm actually making a double batch of everything. That's why it looks like I have more, because Dawn says she's very hungry.
I'm very hungry today.
You should dive into the cheese board.
I'm going to. I am definitely going to.
So I put a little wet paper towel in with the lettuce. I pre-washed it, so don't worry about having to wash it. The wet paper towel just keeps it nice and vibrant. If you ever find that your lettuce is looking wilted, you could shock it in a bowl of ice water, and it'll just perk it back up, bring it back to life, and get a real nice crisp salad. But these all look pretty nice. So what I'm going to do is just kind of cut it into big chunks. My tip is to keep the stem on and use that to hold on to as you're cutting it, because you're going to cut up into the stem and you're not going to use the stem anyway, so there's no point in cutting it off at the beginning. Keep your fingers safe from the knife. But
Yes.
so we'll just cut this up here.
And our friend Kay Evans, hi, said that the sound is better because we turned off the loud old cooler.
Oh, the fan.
So that's very good. We'll still talk loud, but bear with us. Okay, so Sarah, also on lettuce, let's say I'm going to do a salad. Can I cut it up like an hour early? Just keep it in the bowl cold? Like, what's the best way so it doesn't wilt away, or but if I want to prep it in advance?
Yeah, I'd say if you prep it in advance, you just want to keep it cold.
Okay.
So keeping it in the fridge, in the bowl. The only thing I wouldn't do is put the dressing on. And then also, if you're going to put it in the fridge, I wouldn't put anything crunchy on. So no croutons, no, fried onions or nuts or anything that you put on the salad. I would leave that off if you're going to prep it ahead of time and put it in the fridge. Let's see. But salad's one of those things you could definitely prep ahead of time and just, have it ready in the fridge.
In the fridge. And where did you get your salad today, Sarah? Of our friends?
Yeah, I got
From
this
our
from
great friends?
Specialty Produce. So Specialty Produce is where we get all of our produce for the shop here, but they are also open to the public, and it is just this big, beautiful warehouse of goodies. The public can go in, you can pick anything you like. They have a whole, if you find the gold mine in the place, the edible flower room.
Yes.
It's just one tiny room.
It's like Willy Wonka's. It's like a little Willy Wonka room.
Your face is like, yes. It's like a kid in a candy shop.
Right? Did you have trouble finding it? Did you have to ask?
I've been there a few
You've
times.
been okay. Yeah.
And
I've never been there.
I
I don't have to
toured it in school. We went and toured Specialty Produce, so I've been there a bunch of times. But so the salad here, we'll also cut up the tomatoes. You can leave them whole or cut them up, kind of up to you. I'm just gonna cut them in half. I think it's easier to eat a cherry tomato if it's been cut in half so it doesn't kind of, pop all over the place.
Oh, cherry tomatoes.
So Don, do you want to talk a little bit about our wine that we're having with this course?
Sure.
Ooh,
We
like-
are doing a Sansei Blanc today, and this is one of our favorite wines. I think we've had this before in one of our dinners. This is a really nice white wine. It's got a full mouth feel. It's got fruit forward, maybe some of the peaches and apricots and
Sancerre, very French.
So it's very French.
Very French.
It would probably go really good with your little camembert if you want to taste.
Give that a try. We're going to go through all the cheeses in just a minute because we have someone new on the line, Ken. Ken, we're going to go through the cheeses a little bit more. But Sancerre, everybody, if you don't know Sancerre, you probably do know Sauvignon Blanc. So Sancerre is French version of Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yes.
The French just expect you to know
It's
that.
100%.
when they say
It's
Sancerre.
100% Sauvignon Blanc.
There you go. Exactly.
So-
all the nuances of wine, right?
Yes.
Don to know all the little details.
It
But
is.
really delicious. This
It's
is awesome.
really, really, actually the temperature is perfect right now.
Yeah, not super
It's
cold.
not super cold. I usually like to drink my wine really, really cold.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I'll add ice cubes to it. People look at me like I have
Like
3
you're
heads.
crazy.
Are you nuts?
Don't share the
But
French.
it is really, it is really good, and definitely try it with that camembert.
The
Actually,
camembert.
try it with all of the cheeses that you have.
So
Just
Dawn
all
is
over it.
suggesting, and I'm going to pull it off here. Oh, without
Take the whole piece,
I will
Gina.
just take the whole piece because that's how I roll. So everybody, the camembert is this soft, squishy, squidgy one. Camembert. It looks like camembert, but it is definitely camembert. Rhymes with Sancerre. That's how you can remember that they go well together.
Oh, there you
What
go.
do you think?
That's perfect.
But this one can be pretty earthy and stinky, so give it a whiff. I think it's mushroomy. Did you taste it
It's
yet?
a little mushroomy, but it's really creamy right now.
Yeah.
I found it really creamy and buttery.
Is that why you think it goes good with Sancerre
Yes.
often too? That
Yes.
Sancerre is good for the creamy
Mhm.
butteries.
And I think the Schnebelhorn, I'm going to go for the Schnebelhorn next.
Oh, show us which one the Schnebelhorn is.
Schnebelhorn is this
So
nice piece
Camembert France, Schnebelhorn,
from Switzerland.
Switzerland, Schnebelhorn, named after a mountain. in
So one of the
Switzerland.
things that I do when I do pairings is I'll always like take a sip of the wine and kind of coat my mouth with the wine that I'm pairing with
Mhm.
and get a nice coating in there, and then I take a bite of cheese and let the cheese kind of melt in your mouth. Get it all over,
The wine.
and then
Back to the wine.
back to the wine.
See what happens.
And see what happens.
Because sometimes it changes a lot, and sometimes it's just mellow.
Mhm.
But sometimes I think it changes
See,
everything.
now this, I found that this changed the flavor of this cheese, because this is kind of a
Mhm.
stronger, funky cheese.
Mhm.
But when you taste it with this wine, it gives a sweet to it. So you should definitely try that. Both of you
Okay.
should definitely try that.
Try that because I'm doing the camembert with the Sancerre.
Mhm.
Awesome. You're right. Perfect pairing. To me, they just complement each other.
They
Nothing
do.
changes. They both are equally good.
Yeah.
Yum.
Mm.
Good Schnebel.
Mhm.
Schnebelhorn, you guys, is in the family of Alpine cheeses. So where the camembert is kind of brie style,
This is
Schnebelhorn,
like our-
Alpine.
This is our go-to cheese this week.
Is it? Everybody's loving it. Schnebel. You just want to say it.
Schnebelhorn.
Schnebelhorn, Schnebelhorn, Schnebelhorn.
I think this is a really good deal because this is a cheese we've had before, and this is something that's kind of hard to explain to customers, but it's always different. Cheese is almost always different, and so I don't remember it ever tasting like this before. Like it's been a
just
good
really
Alpine,
good.
but now it's
Super
just like
creamy
okay.
and kind of fudgy a little, like
Oh,
a
you
mouse
smell
pepper.
it.
The
Fudgy.
texture, yeah, it's
Mhm.
really nice.
I think that's the beauty, don't you think, of the cheeses that they're not the same every time. I mean, there are some that are. Fromage
Some.
d'Affromage.
Always
You're
the
going to
same.
get that. That's going to be the same every certain
Mhm.
time. Schnebelhorn, Gruyere, Camembert
Mm-hmm.
will always be different.
Delise de Bourgogne, another
Always
one,
different.
always different.
Mm-hmm. And so worth the try. Okay, it smells almost caramely, brown buttery.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Really good. I'm going for
All
Alpine.
good. Mm-hmm.
I'm going for
You're going
that.
to try it all with the Sancerre.
I'm going to try it all with the Sancerre. And that's what I tell people all the time. Try every cheese with every wine,
To
because
see what you like best.
see what you like in the end. You're going to be
Mhm.
like, oh wow, well, I really like the red wine instead of a white wine with it.
Yeah,
And so
Yeah.
if you just taste it and just
Mhm.
experiment.
exactly. With
Yeah.
whatever wine.
There's
you
no
have.
rules with pairing. I mean,
No.
you can give suggestions all day long, but then two things that you don't think would ever go together are perfect, and it's
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
wild card parrot is what we call them.
It smells so good.
It smells so good. Now, does it smell stinky? Everybody, the one she's tasting is the Alp Blossom because it has Alp Blossoms on the rind.
It's like a stinky, florally smell. I mean, does that really make sense?
Stinky flowers?
Stinky flowers, but it smells so good. The
Yeah.
flowers smell delicious.
And how does it go? Does it change?
I don't know. I'm
anything?
gonna go ahead.
You're gonna try it because I think you're right. Schnebelhorn changed with the wine. The Camembert didn't.
No, it was
But the
still
Schnebelhorn
creamy.
changed. Yeah. So super interesting. So
I'm gonna-
Carol loves the idea and loves the pairing. Yes.
Oh, good.
Thank you, Carol.
And Kay Evans, how do we spell the cheese that is fun to say? Schnebelhorn. Schnebelhorn. Schnebelhorn from
Yeah, not as hard as
Switzerland.
it sounds.
No, it actually, you can kind of spell it out. So Schnebelhorn is the thing.
That
named
one's
after-
really yummy
Is it good
too.
too?
Mm-hmm. You gotta eat the flowers though. I was eating the flowers.
So can I tell you, because my mom, Gert, is from Austria. So, and actually one of her sisters lives very near where they make the Alp Blossom. I would say about 45 minutes. Yeah. So.
Did you bring us some next time?
Exactly. Next time I was gonna pack a bunch of wheels.
Come on, stuff them in your luggage.
Anybody see? Remember the old Lucy? I love Lucy.
Oh,
way
God.
back. Okay.
I do.
When they smuggled home provolone in their tubas. Did you remember this episode?
No,
I
Okay,
don't.
look it up.
I only
Cheese
remember
people.
the grape stomping.
The grape stompings on you would, wine lady. Okay, cheese people. I love Lucy. Provolone in the tubas.
Oh my goodness.
Hilarious. That would be us.
So are you girls ready for some salad?
Yes.
So all I've done here with the salad, I finished chopping the tomatoes. I put them into the salad greens. I actually put the dressing on the salad greens also and just toss that up. I'm gonna leave the last couple things to do on the plates.
Okay. Oh. How do you know how much dressing is enough? And
I
not be
think,
swimming.
you know, it's a bad answer, but I just eyeball it really, but you want to coat the leaves, especially these leaves that have a lot of surface area. This lettuce is a lot different than like romaine. There's not much surface area. These have a lot of nooks and crannies, and you want to be able to fill all of those without, you're right, making it swim. A lot of people I've seen, they'll like pour the dressing on the outside of the bowl, so as you mix it kind of mixes into the dressing. Yeah. So we'll finish with some cheese. Can't forget your cheese.
I started.
So this is Sapordo Piage, and I'm just gonna use my planer here, but you can use whatever you have.
Yeah, I'm with you. A little potato peeler works very
Oh,
well,
yeah.
right? Yeah, it
If
works
you don't
really
have a
well.
planer, but nice big
Yeah.
planes of cheese.
Or that little side thing on your grater when you have the four-sided grater.
The side thing.
You know, the little. It looks like
Yes.
this planer.
Yes, it
Croutons?
does.
Oh, absolutely. They smelled so good when we were cooking them.
Yeah, so I made these croutons. I'll kind of tell you how. But so I used
Everyone, I hope yours looks as good. I'm sure it'll taste as good.
I used
Yummy.
a day-old baguette. Old bread is the best for croutons because it's
Good
already
bread.
got some chew to it. I just quartered the baguette and then cut it into a bunch of little pieces. I tossed it with a ton of olive oil. I sprinkled it with herb de Provence, and then I also grated a ton of the Sapordo Piage into the croutons. I just baked them at 350, 10-15 minutes until they were nice and crusty and brown. It's a great way to use old bread is to make croutons.
It's croutons, yeah,
Yeah.
right? And then you can keep them, how do you best keep them? Just like in a Tupperware? Or
Yeah, just in like a
Ziploc?
Ziploc bag. Just keep them airtight because
Yeah.
they're already so dried out. It's not like will get stale over time, but it's not like bread that you need to keep fresh.
Yeah.
It's already pretty stale. But I think it allows you to flavor your croutons how you want. I
Yeah.
incorporated some of the cheese that's also on the salad in a fresh form is also in the croutons
crouton.
in a baked form. So
And that's the Sapordo Piage.
yes.
We had a question from Mark, if the balsamic dressing has any onion powder in it. Do you have an onion element?
So the balsamic dressing is my balsamic glaze, which is just balsamic vinegar, sugar, cornstarch. I also used garlic, Dijon mustard.
Fresh garlic?
Yes, fresh
Okay.
garlic, Dijon mustard, honey, and olive oil and salt. So no
Okay.
onion powder, but the
Okay.
fresh garlic is in there.
Okay, that must be that, getting that zip.
A little bit of a bite, yeah.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
Good combination.
So say I need to put here.
Sarah, tell us a little about Sapordo Piage.
Hold on.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
While we eat. Wait, balsamic glaze, garlic. Yes. And perfect.
I needed a chef plate so I could participate here. So the Sapordo Piage is, I feel like, one of those cheeses that not a lot of people know as much about. So
They should.
they
They
should.
should.
It's a
I'm writing it in here for everyone.
Oh, good. It's an aged Italian cheese, similar to Parmesan. We like to say it's like a mix between a Gouda and a Parmesan, which isn't official or anything. That's just kind of our take on the cheese. But it has more moisture than a Parmesan. It has like a thicker grain to it. Not as fine, not as dry, but still that nutty, that sweet that you get from a Parmesan that you like, but just a little more moisture.
I think it's delicious. And it looks like a parm. If you get a chunk, I mean, you might mix the two up. But it's super, super delicious. I think a little sweeter. I don't know.
Yeah, and a lot of people come in, oh, I'm looking for something like a parm, but do you have anything different?
Mhm.
So this is the best option to do something different than Parmesan, but to still feel like that's what you're getting.
I could eat buckets of croutons. And croutons now, it's coming up to stuffing season.
Yes.
You need old bread.
Oh.
Right? Stuffing and bread pudding. Right? Did you use
Oh.
old chunks for bread pudding?
That's the best to use for bread pudding is
Okay.
old hard bread because it doesn't get soggy, which is nobody wants soggy stuffing or soggy bread pudding. But then also since it's dry, it absorbs more of the liquid you're putting into it. So you get a more custardy, more delicious, moist bread pudding rather than one that's dry and kind of crunchy.
Ah, makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Question from our friend Kay Evans. Were you using the bigger piece? Is the Sapordo the bigger piece or the smaller piece that was in the bag?
The smaller piece. So it's this one. It looks like a Parmesan. The other one is truffle. So you'll be able to tell that it has the black truffle all throughout.
And give it a smell.
You'll smell it.
You'll know.
This is the smaller piece,
Yes. Okay.
and it's the more brownish, yellowish piece of cheese.
Okay. Perfect.
It's delicious, Sarah.
Thank you.
Yeah. The dressing is
Haven't had
the
it
bomb.
like it.
And I'm starving today.
I'm always starving.
I came in hungry today.
Knowing what was coming.
Knowing what was coming, I starved myself.
I like a very simple salad. You know, what lets the cheese shine,
Quite complicated.
and your homemade croutons lets those shine.
And how much cheese is too much cheese on a salad?
No,
And that delicious,
not too much.
delicious balsamic glaze that Sarah made. So good. It's like one of my favorites.
You have to try the cheese on its own for sure. A little shaving, and the thin shaving is the way to go because it just melts on the mouth, on the tongue, right?
It's the best way to use a hard cheese in your salad. A lot of people want to go soft cheese, soft goat cheese, blue cheese, and this is a way to use a harder cheese.
Hard cheese. I like it. I like the ribbon. I like. I like everything.
And the
about
wine is delicious with it too.
it. Yep.
Yeah, the sweetness of the cheese.
What
I
about?
really like this wine. This is like one of my favorite wines.
So
But then again, I love Sauvignon Blanc, so
always a good
you
call.
can't go wrong.
One of the best cheese-friendly whites, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep, definitely. Delish. Some people asking questions.
Nope. I think we got it now. So what was in the dressing? Salad, and which cheese was which? So the Sapordo was the golden. Yep.
Well, I hope everybody is enjoying this as much as I am.
I know. And eating as you go between the cheese plate and then just like you said, start this out. Do you do that when you cook? Are you eating the whole time?
Oh yeah, and then
Yeah.
you're not as hungry while when
you're
the meal
done.
actually comes. Yeah, because you have to taste everything to make sure it tastes good. A big part of cooking is tasting as you go. I mean, I tasted the dressing before I gave it to everyone, so I knew it was good. But
I know this is the bomb.
yeah,
I made it.
I'm very picky about my balsamic.
And people can get that here at the shop.
Ooh, the balsamic glaze.
The balsamic glaze, yeah, we sell that here. People have been using it for roasting Brussels sprouts, for chicken, or you can even use it on dessert. I mean, you could certainly put it over
Ice
vanilla
cream?
ice cream, and it turns into like a savory, sweet thing.
Balsamic and strawberry is always a killer
Oh
combination.
yeah.
I seriously remember growing up and thinking it was so weird. Again, my mom from Austria. We would get ice cream and we would buy just different flavored syrups.
Yeah.
Balsamic syrups, strawberry syrups, and pour that over. Like that was the biggest thing, was to pour the syrups over. It was never maple. Like maple syrup is pure, but it was always fruit ones.
Yeah.
Raspberry syrup.
Maple syrup's Canadian.
blackberry, I don't know, Canadian.
Or Vermont.
That's funny.
But
This is really yummy. I will eat all of this because I'm very, very hungry.
Yes, we know.
we know. So Carol says they're enjoying it more than you are. We're not on camera. Yes, that's
Good for
true.
you, Carol.
Because we have to eat all proper. If I was eating this like not on camera,
I know
I'd be
salad's
upset.
like the worst thing. You
You
don't
can't
do
do
it.
it.
Like, don't eat salad
People
on
like
the
this.
first day. You're just like all the pieces of lettuce. I cut it very small for you, so you wouldn't have these big leaves of lettuce trying to get into your mouth.
Hanging down our chin.
If you were thinking about saving some of the salad for tomorrow, I'd recommend not dressing it, or not
Yes.
dressing some of it.
yeah, keep just the leaves.
Yeah.
Very
This one
good.
is a little bit hearty though. You could probably dress it, I don't know, 30 minutes before you want to eat it.
Yeah.
Most salad you want to dress right when you want
Right,
to eat
right.
it, but this one I think could hold
Could
up
hold
a little
up.
bit.
Okay.
Like kale,
Kale for
you
sure.
could dress hours before you eat it. And
You
it's-
could run it over with a car. You could you do anything with kale, right? It would still be
run it
holding
through the
up.
shredder.
Run it through the shredder. It's still
Yeah.
holding up.
Wait, I thought it was a lettuce shredder, not a paper shredder.
Oh, we have a question here. Dawn and Sarah. Dawn, you built cheese plates.
Yes,
today.
I
They're
did.
gorgeous.
I did.
Are these dried blueberries?
Yes, they are.
Please tell. Again, you got them at Specialty?
Well, we got them at
These ones dried?
Specialty, and it was completely by accident. One day, they came in, and it was like, dried blueberries? When do we ever order dried blueberries? But we kept them anyway, and they
I
are
didn't get
so delicious.
They
It's sweet.
intensify flavor. Huh?
Oh, they're so good. They're like sweet candy, almost.
And they're
I know.
something different. I mean, who's
It's
ever seen a
so
dried blueberry
different.
before?
It
We've
is
never
so
seen
different,
one.
yes.
That's delicious.
They are really good. They're
Whoa, intense.
They
At the
are.
end.
Yes.
Dried blueberries.
Dried blueberries.
And then, of course, dried cranberries.
cranberries, apricots, and then you
Mhm.
had the little chocolate-covered Marcona almonds.
Yes.
Those are Piadras from Spain.
Little stones,
Yeah.
Dawn is speaking of.
Yes.
You usually can mix dessert with main courses, right?
Yeah.
Sweet and savory is like
Sweet and savory, yeah.
Yes.
These are little piedras, like
Mhm.
Dawn said, the chocolate covered, cocoa dusted
Almonds.
almonds.
So yummy. Little snacks that we survive on throughout the year.
We raised, the question we get is why doesn't everybody weigh 300 pounds? When they
a
work
lot.
here, right?
I'd weigh so much if I ever worked there.
Because I eat cheese all the time. You eat cheese all the time. I eat cheese all the time.
We graze.
Every day.
We graze. Mm-hmm.
But I don't take cheese home anymore.
You don't?
Not as much, unless
Not
it's in
as
a
much.
special occasion. But,
Uh-huh.
but I don't really take cheese home.
Because
We're
you're
like-
grazing all day.
Yeah.
We're like the animals that make the milk for the cheese. We graze. It's a cycle.
It's a sustainable. We're very
It is.
sustainable here.
Definitely sustainable. So,
Very good, very
yeah, it's so true. It's really funny now.
Question for you, Miss Chef Sarah, from Ken. To store whole green tomatoes, how do you store them? Like, do you want to keep them green, or?
I mean, I
Just
mean,
in-
you just, if you want to stop the ripening process, I'd put them in the fridge. If you want
Mhm.
to keep them green and keep them fresh, put something in the fridge, definitely.
Okay, that will.
Freeze them?
Oh yeah.
So my sister's always freezing tomatoes.
I would say you could freeze produce like that if you're planning on cooking it. I wouldn't freeze something that you're planning on serving raw.
Right.
I wouldn't, try and make a caprese salad out of frozen tomatoes, but if you're gonna turn it into a sauce, or you're gonna fry them, or you're gonna cook them that way,
Mhm.
the texture may be a little bit off after freezing them, but if you're trying to save produce that you've grown yourself, or you have a lot of,
Mhm.
that's the best way to do it.
Right. And never freeze cheese.
No, never, ever, ever. Unless
Ever.
you're gonna cook with it, maybe, but don't do it.
Don't do it. Just eat it.
Except.
That's the worst question we get. Can
Yes,
I freeze it?
cheese, don't. No, just
No!
come get the fresh stuff. But, can I tell you, Point Reyes, Northern California, they actually said you can freeze their Point Reyes blue, if you've had it, but to shave over a salad, like you could then just use a grater and like make snowflakes. They called it blue snow.
Oh.
So then they would shave it over and then it would kind of like melt into the salad. I haven't tried it myself,
But not
they
like an extended freeze.
No, I don't think
This
so.
is just to
Just to get that
that
snowflake
texture.
texture. Yeah, and maybe to keep it
A
chilled.
little
I don't know.
flavor, a little
Yeah.
extra flavor there.
Yeah, because a lot of people say if you have mozzarella that you're needing to shred and you want it more firm quickly, throw it in the freezer for a few minutes. But I wouldn't, stock your freezer up with hunks of cheese.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
No
Come
brie,
here just a little bit.
no brie section, no
No.
conditioner.
Oh, let me
or none
freeze
of
this
that.
brie and see how it tastes when
You try.
I might do an experiment, I think.
Sarah, the question, so
Oh yeah.
autocorrect made it green tomatoes. Just the regular tomatoes, though, that we had on the salad. How long can you keep those, or can you store them in a better way? Do you want that with, like, wet towels like you did with the lettuce? Or what's the best way to store those small little tomatoes?
I almost feel like still in the fridge, yes. In a container that allows them to breathe a little bit. So almost if you still had that, if you got it from the grocery store and it's still in that little clamshell, the plastic clamshell that has the air holes in it, it allows it to circulate air so that the gases that it's giving off doesn't make it go bad in the container. But the fridge is the best way to keep things.
So not on the countertop.
No,
They'll ripen fast, right?
they'll ripen faster because it's warm, especially
Okay.
now in the heat. I mean, we're about to get another heat wave.
I'll
But
have to let my sister know that.
yeah.
She's always got our tomatoes on the countertop.
Or same thing like bananas,
Bananas.
avocados. If you want them
Apples,
to stop ripening,
yes.
put them in the fridge.
Yeah. But the key is keeping that air. So those containers are built that way for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
But similar to the way we need cheese to breathe in their fridge. Same thing. You want cheese to not be in an airtight container. You want the flow of circulation.
Through it. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Cool. That's interesting.
And if they get a little, like mine get wrinkly, after a while.
Sure.
I've had them in there too long. I can just make sauce with them or something.
Right,
Exactly.
sauce and then freeze it.
And then freeze it. Yes, you can freeze it after you've made something with
Yeah.
them, right? But not before.
I love freezing tomato
Yeah.
sauce. It's like the best thing.
That-
My sister actually gave me a really good idea. She freezes them in an ice cube tray.
Tomato sauce.
Tomato sauce.
Tomato cubes.
In an ice cube tray, and then she makes these little cubes, and then she snaps them into a Ziploc baggie, and then we just take them out when we need them.
Yeah, however
So
many you
it's
need.
like however many you need. If you're one person or 3 or 5, you use the whole bag, but it works really, really well.
I like the ice cube tray.
Yes.
I put earrings in my ice cube tray. I don't put them in the fridge, but I use my ice cube
Why
tray
are
for
you freezing
earrings.
your
I was like,
earrings?
I'm freezing your earrings. Oh, that's funny.
The many uses of an ice cube
Yes.
tray.
There is very many uses, but no, that was like,
Baby food. That was in my ice cube trays.
no.
Jay Evans is like, shut up, she's cooking. Her pasta's ready to
Oh,
go.
there.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, that's okay.
There we go. Should she keep some pasta water?
Yes, after the pasta's been cooking in it though, because
Yes.
the importance comes from the starch in the water.
Oh, well,
So
let's
we'll get
throw
there.
it on in here.
Yeah, might
Okay,
as
here
well
we
start
go.
now. So my water's almost there, might as well throw it in. So this pasta, we actually sell this in the shop. I tested it last weekend to make sure I liked it. But I love that the sauce gets inside the noodles and you just have so much more sauce per noodle. The package, I'm glad I tested them because the package says it takes 8 to 9 minutes to boil. I was boiling them for like 15 minutes. And so this is perfect that I tested it out ahead of time. But I'm gonna go ahead and toss these into my boiling salted water. Sorry.
My hair's gonna frizz.
You got a steam treatment.
I'm gonna go ahead and set a timer for 15 minutes.
My curls are gonna go.
So it needed longer time than you expected.
Yes.
This one. So
And there is no science to
pasta.
knowing when your pasta's done other than taste it. So I just had to keep tasting the pasta. We're not throwing this on the wall to make sure it sticks, but
We tried.
I don't think you could with for your tummy, but I just kept tasting, and there was still just too much chew to it. You still want a nice bite with your pasta, but this was like the kind of chew where it was like still too starchy, still getting stuck in your teeth, and so I just think it needed more time.
Okay.
So I put these in, started a timer for 15 minutes, and then once we're about to take the pasta out, that's when we will reserve the water because the starch is what's going to build our sauce.
Does that make the starch come together? Is it like cornstarch? Does it act like cornstarch would in water? Is that why you keep the pasta water?
Yes. So we're going to be doing this in like traditional cacio e pepe style for the pasta, which I had never actually made. I've had it so many times.
Yes.
Trying to think of how they make it, but so the base of your sauce is actually the pasta water.
For cacio e pepe.
Yes. So I'll bring my burner over, my second burner, when we're ready to start making the sauce. But we're just gonna put the pasta water on the stove, maybe a cup or so, not a lot. We're gonna bring it up to a boil. We're gonna throw in the cracked pepper, allow it to kind of bloom a little bit, get a little bit floral. Then once the pasta's ready, that's when we'll grate in all of our cheese, let it melt in the water, throw the pasta into the sauce, and you know, the melting of the cheese and the starch from the pasta water is what's going to create that creamy sauce. So starch is a great thickener, and if you're ever looking to kind of bring together a sauce that you have, adding a little bit of pasta water is going to always help.
Can you keep pasta water? Like, would you reserve it and put it in a tub and freeze it or keep it?
I mean, you're always going to have more pasta water when you're making more pasta, so I don't really see why you would have to save it because, you know, you're not going to
use the fresh.
You're going to be making pasta the next time you want to finish your sauce, and so just use some of that pasta water. So, I was watching on America's Test Kitchen. They were making carbonara and kind of perfecting their carbonara recipe. If anyone's seen America's Test Kitchen, they test recipes 1,000,000 zillion times to make them perfect. And their trick to making the perfect sauce with carbonara, because you know you don't cook carbonara. It's like
I did not know.
So it's cheese mixed with egg mixed with bacon. You throw the pasta in, and that makes the sauce. It like cooks the egg and the
Crazy.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
But their trick was cooking. So we have the water about up to here in the pot. Their trick was cooking the pasta in about half the amount of water, so that the water was extremely concentrated with starch. And you used a little bit of that in your sauce, and that's what made the thick, luscious sauce that you needed to make the
That's
beautiful.
interesting.
That is an interesting
All
tip that
from
I'm going to
pasta
share.
starch.
Yeah.
Wow. Who knew?
I know. I'm just gonna keep stirring this.
Learning new
occasionally.
tricks every day.
But so, the only other things that we need to get ready for the pasta, I have little containers of parsley here. I do think it looks really nice if there's still whole pieces of parsley, so it's kind of up to you. If you want to chop the parsley, you can. I'm going to leave mine whole because I think it just looks really nice and impressive on the plate.
Okay, do tell, like, do you always use Italian parsley, or what about the American swirly twirly parsley?
Yeah, so if I'm...
What's the difference?
For different uses, I would use them for different things.
Okay.
So if I'm looking to chop a bunch of parsley, like to use it in a chimichurri or to add it to pesto, and you're wanting to get a really nice chop on it, the curly parsley is a lot thicker. It's easier to cut. Like imagine cutting, like trying to cut something that's like more of a ball, and the flat parsley is just so flat. Sometimes it's hard to like run a knife through it and get the nice even pieces. I feel like the curly parsley is a lot stiffer. It's really easy to chop.
Okay. So for certain purposes, you would use that because the flavor about the same.
I'd say about the same in my personal experience. Okay, so 10 minutes left.
So
on
what's the
pasta.
difference between Italian parsley, American parsley, Mexican parsley? Is it Mexican parsley is considered cilantro?
It looks the same.
Never
Sometimes you have to look at it.
That's what everybody always says. Oh,
I think I'm thinking of Mexican oregano. Like there's oregano, Italian
Oh,
oregano.
true. And Mexican
oregano.
right now.
I don't know. I guess.
I don't know.
I don't
Dawn?
know.
I'm gonna have to search specialty and
Google it.
find out the difference.
And find the difference. Dawn, Carol loves your pairing. She thinks you are so right.
Thank you, Carol. I appreciate that.
Dawn thinks she's right too.
I may not always be right, but I'm never wrong.
Okay, that's a great slogan.
No, I'm serious. No, it's true.
So before we talk about the wine, I have the Moliterno here. You'll see
okay.
this looks much different than the Sapordo Piage.
I'll get a little
It's a nice
closer to
big
the
piece.
camera.
Take
We give
a
everyone a
good
big
whiff
chunk.
of that. It's delicious.
You guys do.
Ah.
You have to smell this one. You're gonna know right away if you like truffles or not. You're
Yeah.
gonna smell the truffle.
My favorite cheese.
Your
Mama
name.
Your
Mama
cheese name?
Moliterno.
Mama Moliterno.
That's
Follow
me.
on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can follow me on Instagram as Mama Moliterno. That is my cheese making party platter Instagram account.
Yep.
So I'm not going to pre-shred this. You can if you'd like. I think it's super impressive and pretty nice to like shave it right into the sauce. That's how I like to do it. If you wanted to grate it on a grater or with the zester here like I have and have it like in a little pile on your cutting board, that's more than okay too. This way I think allows you to decide how much cheese you want, which like Gina said earlier is never too much cheese, but you can decide how much cheese you want, and if you've decided you've had enough, then you can save the rest of the cheese for later. It's not already shredded and you need to use it. So one thing that's nice about the Moliterno is you can see everyone has a piece of the rind here, but it's fully edible. So that I'll just grate this right into the sauce, and you can still eat the rind. There's no problem there.
Nothing goes to waste.
Nothing goes to waste with Moliterno. And if you get to the end and you've got like this little nub of cheese left, that'll be perfect to throw into a sauce or throw into a soup.
Yes.
Like you could use it how you would use a
Yes.
Parmesan rind, except this rind would actually disintegrate fully. It would go like Parmesan
It would disappear,
rind.
yeah.
Parmesan
Parmesan
rind
gets like
you
a
still
kind of
find in your sauce,
They can eat them.
but you could bump up your tomato sauce with a truffle
Ooh, I'll have
rind.
to try that.
Right? I mean, you guys do not throw any piece of cheese away.
No.
Every bit can be used for something. The rinds in sauces, soups, whatever, impart so much flavor. And like she said,
My hair's frizzy.
it's hilarious. I can't decide if it's like New York City where the sewer grates, they just shoot up the fumes.
Walking across.
Yeah, or you're just in
right.
a steam room. I don't know, but either way.
It's funny about cheese. I have a little stories. My sister made some pasta the other day, and she's like, I don't know what cheese that was in the refrigerator, but I grated it up and threw it in our pasta, and it's so delicious. What was it? And I'm like trying to figure out like, what do I have in there?
What was it?
I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. It's like bits and pieces. I think it might have been the Sapordo Piage though.
Probably. It's so delicious.
It might have been.
Yeah.
I just had like random pieces like wrapped up, and I'm like, well, did you read the wrapper? And she's like, no. I'm like, well, how do you know? You know, like I'll have like pieces of Euphoria in there, or Parmesan, or Sapore, or honeybee go Gouda.
Yeah, that would have been good too.
Yeah, no. So she's pretty funny though. She's like, oh, it's so delicious. She keeps talking about it.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what Moliterno is?
Oh, Taurus.
Don's favorite cheese.
My
She sells it
favorite
to everybody.
Yes, do tell why.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's just such an extraordinary cheese. It's got everything going on. It's got like pizzazz and just it's robust and delicious, and it goes with everything. Well, not everything, but mostly everything that I like to eat.
Honey? Would you do it with honey?
No.
You don't like it with honey?
I would not do it with honey.
I would say it's a perfect pairing with honey.
I
think so
really-
too, but she won't do
But
it.
I won't do it with
She's
honey.
a purist. She's a purist.
So there explains it.
I had made pizzas, and I always make those pizzas with Moliterno, prosciutto, arugula, a little olive oil. It's the best thing in the world. It is so delicious.
The best, but not honey. What about prosciutto, Moliterno, and honey?
Prosciutto, I don't know. I'll have to try it.
Okay, try it.
Now that you,
I think the prosciutto would help because it
Salt.
adds more salt.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You
Yeah.
want this, like you
but
said,
I don't
salt
know.
and
You know
sweet,
what?
right?
I love it the way it is, so I don't want to like ruin that for myself because
Purist.
that is like my
Okay.
cheese.
Yeah.
But I was lucky enough to meet the cheesemaker one day.
Oh, tell
He came
me,
into
yeah.
the shop.
So
When I first started working, it was right after I had picked my cheesemonger name, which is Mama Moliterno.
that's me.
And our old manager, Christine, was here, and she's like,
Who is online right now? She says hello.
Hi, Christine. And she was here, and he came in, and he's like, oh, and she's like, oh, well, her name is Mama Moliterno. And so he was like, really like, wow, that's so great. So yes, it's from Sardinia, Italy. And Moliterno is actually a little town in mainland Italy. And then the family moved to Sardinia because the sheep can graze better there in Sardinia. And so that's why they took their little business and started making their Moliterno, the pecorino. It is a pecorino cheese.
Because of the sheep milk.
Because of the sheep milk. And then they perfected, which is a big secret, how they get this ribboning.
Yeah, the veins in
The
there are
veins.
stunning. I mean, just
Yeah.
absolutely
This
stunning.
one's
Let's
good.
get as close as I can to show you guys
So
the
that is
veins.
a delicious black truffle paste, and they do that after, I believe it's after 5 months of aging.
Oh, they wait until the
They wait and then they inject the
And they-
paste.
Just like they do with
Yes.
blue cheeses, they'll needle the cheese, spear it
Yes.
to get veins in there.
Yeah, and it's so delicious.
I get tired of the buzzwords, umami and all this stuff, but this definitely
That's
does
a perfect
because it's the
example
perfect
of
word.
that
This
word. Yeah.
Is it sweet? Is it savory? You just smell everything.
It's so good.
When you
A
smell
fresh
it.
wheel will almost be spicy too.
That's true.
Not spicy,
Yeah.
but like hot. You taste the truffle and it's like
It
a
burns
hot,
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little burn with it, but
Yeah.
a good
And
flavor.
they
but-
do rub it in olive oil too. So that's another thing.
Which is not the Italians.
Those Italians.
Dang it.
I know. Leave it to the Italians, right?
Leave it to the Italians. Yeah.
They're all about food and love. Well, whatever.
Food,
That's
love,
different.
fashion. They get everything.
I know. Yeah.
This
And
is me.
It's I always give away a couple of recipes when anybody buys Moliterno,
Moliterno,
especially
what do you
for
do
me.
with Moliterno? Yeah, right.
And, I was like, well, you know, it goes really good with this, that, and the other thing. Oh, I'll have to try that.
Yes. What about on eggs? I love truffles with eggs.
Scrambled eggs and Moliterno. Oh,
Heaven.
so good.
Right?
Delicious.
Pizza. We mentioned.
Pizza. Pasta.
Pasta.
What we'll have tonight. Pasta.
Yes.
Oh, I feel like truffle anything, especially cheese, always elevates mushrooms.
Oh.
So
Because,
sauteed
yeah.
mushrooms with a little
Yes.
grating of
We'll have to try that
Moliterno.
on Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
Oh my
So I want to get a vote on though. For people tasting the Moliterno out there, just have a bite. I want to know because this to me is curious. Do you taste more garlic or mushroom? Just send back. I'd
really
be
good
curious to
question.
know because I have a theory and I want to see if we get the answers for that. So when you taste the Moliterno with the truffles, do you taste more garlic or more mushroom? If you could just let me know, and then I'll get back to what I'm thinking.
Little pull.
Wow. Good you, Gina.
All right, Christine wants to know what red wine are we drinking?
Yeah, let's talk about wine.
Our red
Wine.
wine
Let's
is
do
a-
cheers.
Cheers.
Salud.
This is a
Yeah, carre.
Carre, and this is a Garnacha from Spain, and it's 100% Garnacha.
Okay.
If you did our
Apparently,
Spanish class,
Gina
it's
and
only-
Sarah have drank this before.
A lot.
Because it's so good. And the first day we tasted it, this was like when I first came back to work after the quarantine. We're needing to kind of bring our wine shelf back. Our wine guy
Wow.
came in with a bunch of wine for me and Gina to taste. We just kind of had some cheeses around snacking, and this was like what Don and I say, our wow cheese, our wow pairing. You tasted the cheese with the wine, and it was just perfect.
Yes,
Oh.
it is actually really good. Wow, I'm blown away by this.
It's so good.
It's definitely kind of like a really
warm.
good mouthfeel.
Mhm.
It
Like
coats your
velvety.
mouth. It's like sweet almost.
Yes, vanilla-y. I get vanilla.
I
don't
get
know
vanilla
why. I
too.
get vanilla.
Yes, vanilla.
Mhm.
And it's really yummy. Wow, this is good.
So the Spanish call it garnacha,
Right.
and then what are the other words?
Grenache.
Grenache, but
Grenache.
where does that come from? French or
French.
French, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Same.
It's the same thing, yes. But they all have their name for it. But garnacha.
It is aged in American oak though, which is interesting. Why?
Spanish wine, American oak.
Right.
I like it though. It's bringing the world together.
Yeah.
It
We
is
need
bringing the, we need that.
With wine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's the way to do it.
It's delicious actually.
So we've got one vote for mushroom. Okay, wait. Back to the votes. Mushroom or garlic, you two?
I find most people, well, I know what it
You
is. so
smell
you
it.
But
can't-
I want to know what you.
Most people ask
What do
me
you
if
think?
it's the garlicky cheese.
And you taste more garlic too.
No, I don't.
You don't. You taste more mushroom.
Well, it's much truffles.
Okay, mushroom or garlic?
I've never thought of the garlic thing until we're talking about it now. That spice
It's-
is very reminiscent of fresh garlic, like raw garlic, that
Yeah.
spice, that heat.
Yeah.
I can
I
see
just-
it. At first, I never understood
I
the
don't
whole
understand the
garlic thing.
mushroom thing.
No.
No, I don't.
You don't get either of those. No, that's interesting. That's okay. That's your
I don't.
taste.
Well, you know what? I'm a foodie. I've been in the food industry for umpteen years, and so I know the difference. So I mean, maybe if I was somebody that was new,
Yeah. But you wouldn't lean one way or the other, really? No.
more towards. I would probably lean more towards a garlicky essence,
Okay, perfect.
not a
Sarah.
mushroom. You're a foodie too.
I know. I don't think it's mushroomy.
You don't? No, so this
No.
okay. So my theory is blown so
Yes.
far, but I'll tell you what mushroom. Mushroom Mushroom.
The
So-
customer's right. Just go with it.
Yeah, no. Yes, you're all
You
right.
guys are
Mushroom.
right.
But there is a fact about truffles, is they are not of the mushroom family.
Right, even though they're a tuber.
Right.
Yeah, they're a fungus.
They're
so
fungus.
more of a
They
fungus.
grow on specific
But
roots.
they're not
Yes.
considered a mushroom.
Exactly, they're not.
No.
But my theory was, so we're getting lots of mushrooms, but these are mostly ladies, and this was my theory. I feel that when we were in the shop and we would take samples to people, the women would tend to say mushroom, the men would tend to say garlic.
Right.
So that was interesting.
A lot of men don't like truffles though.
I have found that too.
A lot of men don't.
So you
like
think the
truffles.
men
There's two
don't
things
like the
that men
truffle
don't
sauce?
like
I always get
in
garlic.
restaurants.
Just think it's garlic.
Mushrooms, truffles, and eggplant.
Okay, that's makes no sense.
I don't know why, but being in the industry for as long as I have, you mention eggplant to a man and he's like cringes.
Eggplant. It's all squishy. Like eggplant is squishy, but that's a whole other episode. That's a whole other one. That's
We'll
a
get
whole
to
other
there.
one.
No.
So no, but Christine like gets garlic. I get
I get
mushroom,
garlicky.
You get garlicky. So
Well, she's the LeGrind fan. So
Well, you know, it all depends on your palate too.
it sure does.
You
It
know?
sure does. But mushroom, garlic, these little bulbs of the earth, we could call them.
Yes,
They're the same.
they are bulbs of the
They're
earth.
bulbs of the earth, and
They
they,
are.
yeah,
That's great. I haven't thought about that.
they all are.
You know, they really don't use pigs anymore. You know why?
Do tell.
Because the pigs would eat the truffles.
They're smart, but they
They're
couldn't
smart,
be
so
trained.
there we
They're
go.
smart ones, but they couldn't
You
be
know,
trained.
The dogs, yeah. So you know that the truffles grow within like a certain radius of an oak tree,
hazelnut, yeah.
Underground.
underground, and
Yes,
the full
certain
moon or
ones.
whatever. You know, this is like random, like
Certain times of the year.
old wives' tales and stuff. But when they used the pigs would just gobble the truffles up.
Right.
So then they started training the dogs. And so now they have the dogs that can only
And
sniff
they
out the
would
truffles.
disrupt the earth too. Like
Yes.
they would make too much of a mess
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
in the
Mhm.
ground. Truffles wouldn't.
And then they wouldn't grow. Yes. We
Um,
had an old employee who brought in a truffle one day. I don't know if you remember
I was
that.
here.
Okay, how's our pasta?
Christine
So
might
we're
know
needing
that.
some more time on the pasta.
Any other
Like
questions?
I said, I tasted it and it's still feeling a little bit too toothsome for me. So might as well build our dessert because at the end of a big meal, who wants to put more effort into cooking? Let's just have our dessert
This is
ready.
such a good
Let's have our
start.
dessert. Oh, that's right, because by that
Let's
time
just
you
have it
had your
ready.
thing, you
Yes.
drank way too much wine.
That's
Yeah.
a good idea, Sarah.
Yeah?
Yeah, always make dessert first, so you don't have to. Especially if you're entertaining, you don't want to have to go back into the kitchen and cook. You want your dessert ready.
Ah.
You just want to bring it out.
So
You
let's
just want
jump.
to bring it up.
Well, let's move our glass.
So we'll
first.
get these ready. So
This is a good collaboration on dessert.
yeah.
Mhm.
So these.
I always believe in the whole round table discussion with people when you're trying to figure stuff out. Because when you get more input and then everybody starts jotting stuff out, I guess that's how writers work.
Yeah.
You
Just
know?
get different ideas.
Different
We
ideas.
did that with our dessert. We couldn't figure out what to do for dessert. It was kind of just like ding ding, like bulbs went off. We
Okay.
figured out. But so these are little puff pastry tartlets.
Did you buy them like that, or did you bake them to make them look like this?
I made these for them
From puff pastry.
from Puff Pastry. But I do know you can buy these in the freezer section. But I made these. They're super easy to make. So I had sheets of puff pastry, and if you haven't worked with puff pastry, it is like the fanciest / easiest thing to just have in your freezer. I mean, so I went to culinary school. I went to, I was in pastry school. I learned how to make puff pastry from scratch, and it is a long process, and nobody does it. They just don't. Unless you're an artisan bread company making your own croissants, you don't make puff pastry. You buy it frozen. Because the whole process is layering dough and butter and dough and butter, and you fold the dough and then you roll it out and fold it again and fold it again, and the whole thing it creates thousands of layers of dough and butter and dough and butter, and that's what gets you your flaky
I
crust.
saw that a lot.
But so I had sheets of puff pastry just in the freezer. This is the best way to use it up. So I cut a circle of puff pastry. And then I cut another circle, and then cut a circle out of that. So I have a flat circle piece, and then I had like a donut piece. So I layered the donut piece on top of the other circle, and that's what creates this little well in here. because you have this second layer of puff pastry. So then I brushed it with a little bit of water and sprinkled it with turbinado sugar just to give it a little bit of sweetness. Now these are really nice like this, just room temperature, but if you also wanted to pop them into the toaster oven or into the oven to just give them a quick heat, you can do that too. But I think they're just as delicious like this. But also, like I said, you can buy these in the freezer section.
I love that you did the layers because then that's toasty in the center and not mushy. Because sometimes puff pastry. Okay, I watched Chopped. Like, I'm addicted to Chopped.
You can't
They
do
always
puff pastry
get
on
chopped. No, they always get chopped from puff pastry. So to see a good puff pastry is good, and to know you do the layers, that's interesting.
Yeah.
The full round and the donut round.
Because you could even do a second layer of the donut shape, and it would make it even taller.
Oh.
You're filled with more creamy goodness.
Yeah.
That would be huge, but yummy.
I have done these in the past savory, so you do the same thing, but before I baked it, I put, just ready to drool a little bit, I put a chunk of taleggio, and then I put a tomato, olive oil, garlic, and then baked it that way. So the puff pastry rose around the taleggio and the tomato, but they all melted all on the inside.
Wow.
It was killer. But so good.
Killer.
But all the things you can do with puff pastry, I mean, we're using it for dessert right now, but you can use it.
Gotta warm up.
There's
It's
different
freezing
ways.
over here.
We're almost ready for the pasta. So
Okay,
let's
that's crazy.
finish up
Cheese into
This
your
is
puff
so
pastry.
delicious,
Yeah.
this wine.
Garnacha.
I'm talking to Rachel and
Carol is super impressed by you.
Oh, thank you. Hi, Carol. I saw you this afternoon. I gave her her bag.
Yeah, exactly.
So these here for the dessert, we're going to chop these first. These are the chocolate-covered candied oranges.
Okay. Crazy, you guys. We all know chocolate-covered peanuts or chocolate-covered figs, but these chocolate-covered oranges, which everybody I think here knows, you get at the holidays, you bust the orange into the chunks. Remember those? You know, you buy the big round chocolate orange and smash it and the orange chunks fall off.
Yes.
These are better.
Much better.
These come from Spain.
Unfortunately, I did not make
So
them.
good.
No, but they're from Seville oranges. So there are we have Valencia oranges. It's a version of a Spanish orange that's
good.
freaking delicious. And you pair it, that's candied orange, which they do in like a moon shape. And then they coat it in the dark chocolate. It's spectacular. It's kind of my new, I love the fig, but I think I'm a fresh fig gal. So I like the chocolate covered oranges better than a chocolate covered fig. And for the holidays, spectacular. Yeah.
We're all like, oh, does anybody want a chocolate covered orange? Yes.
Yes.
And we're all like,
more.
I can only eat one. I can only give myself one a day.
Is that why you don't eat dinner or anything? You're just eating chocolate covered oranges all day.
I graze. I'm a grazer.
You're a grazer. We bought like 12 pounds of it. There's only 2 pounds left.
So good.
Dawn.
So
This is gonna be so good.
what I did
Okay,
is
wait. We gotta show this
Yes.
because Sarah.
the tub, I'm like packing it on, but the tub that you have there is, so
That's
it's
a lot.
Saint Angel. Yeah, it is. It's Saint Angel. I took the chunk of Saint Angel, like rind and all, like the whole thing. I threw it into, you can hold on to that.
Oh, I'll hold on to this.
I threw it into the food processor and whipped it. You would never know that there's rind in that
No.
cheese.
So
You don't want to waste any cheese. I
Why
mean, cutting
waste
off
it?
the
Yeah.
rind really does still take from the creaminess of the cheese. So I didn't want to waste anything. I threw the whole thing in. It created this light, silky, smooth texture. It's still a little cold, so I think this is perfect that it'll sit out a little
sit
bit.
it. I have to set it aside. You're saying.
For now. But did you show them? All I did was chop up the oranges, packed them on top of the Saint Angel. You can stuff this.
Dessert now.
Yeah, exactly. Now that's another thing. We'll get to that too because I think they should serve dessert first because I never eat dessert because I'm too
Oh,
stuffed.
I'm just so
So
excited.
start with dessert, maybe.
Why
Work
not?
backwards. Saint Angel, you guys, is the triple cream brie,
Oh, yes.
and you're just saying you just whipped it, and like with a hand mixer.
No, in the food processor.
In the food processor.
The whole
hand
thing.
mixer? I
You-
can do
Or
it.
hand mixer. You can
Yeah,
do either
hand
one.
mixer.
I think the blade, like the chopping of the blade, helps with the food processor.
Because of the rind.
Because of the rind.
Okay.
But I just whipped it for like 3-4 minutes or so. It added
Nothing
air,
else.
nothing else.
Just to add the air.
Oh, the trick, the cheese has to be room temperature.
Yes.
Ah, what if it's cold? It will spin around.
It won't break up nicely.
Ah, always room temperature with cheese. Always,
Yeah.
always eating it, chopping it, doing anything with it.
Anything.
Room temperature, it sounds like. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now that this is sitting, it's time to make our pasta.
Okay.
So our pasta's almost done. I'm just gonna take this off here. It's gonna just be blowing on.
Now
your
I'm thankful for the steam.
So I'm gonna reserve some pasta water. I'm actually just gonna put it straight into my pan. That was the little heat safe bowl I told you you needed. That was for your pasta water. But I'm gonna go ahead and put it right in here. You see it's already bubbling up. This ladle is about a 1/4 cup, so I think I'm gonna we'll do 3 to start. And then I'll also reserve some if while we're making the dish, I feel like it needs a little bit more water.
So just keep some on the side just in case.
Yeah. But you can see, I don't know if you can see from here, how murky and starchy that water is. That's what's gonna bring our sauce together. So I had my pan on high. This is already starting to simmer. So I'm gonna add in the black pepper just to bloom it a little bit. Give it, kind of start to cook it, let the aroma come out. You'll start to smell it.
I smell it already.
Thank you, smell it. Any special black pepper? Can you just use the big ground, pre-ground black pepper?
Pepper will always taste better if you grind it yourself.
Okay.
So just use a hand grinder. I like it a little bit more fine. I don't like to feel the texture of the pepper personally.
Oh, you don't like the crunch of the
That's my
pepper.
personal preference, but do whatever you need to. I'm gonna add a little olive oil in here. This is just for flavor and for shine and just, why not? Add more fat.
So is it true that when you add pepper to a dish at the end or beginning? I mean, I've always heard that if you add it in the beginning, it over peppers it. It's better to add it at the end because the pepper keeps.
So the whole over peppering towards the end. So I would say if you're gonna cook a dish for a very long time, wait to season at the end. The reason you feel that it's over peppered is because it's reducing.
Right.
The pepper is concentrating.
Right. So it gets
Your
super
end
peppery.
result, super peppery, super salty.
Right.
So if you're gonna cook something for a long time, hold off on the seasoning.
Right. Okay.
But if it's just quick, salt and pepper whenever you need.
Ah.
Any questions so far?
No, I'm answering, that's exactly it.
Oh,
That's coming
okay.
up, yeah.
So this is bubbling. So right now I'm gonna add a little bit of cheese before I add the pasta. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit.
That is super bubbling.
It is because the oil.
Olive oil?
Yeah, just for
EV
more
oil?
flavor.
Mhm.
I'm gonna add some cheese just to get our sauce started.
Oh God. That little. If I'm caught in a rainstorm, I want to be in a storm like that. The cheese storm.
Look at that giant chunk that fell in there.
Oh
It's
God.
just gonna melt.
Yeah.
I mean, I really just wanted to grate it over the sauce just for the.
And back to
the
how
wow
much
factor.
cheese is too much. It's not. There's not.
never
There's no
enough cheese.
answer. Yeah. There's no.
If you guys don't have a zester like this, get one.
Yeah, that's the miracle
Get one.
tool, right? For sure. I
Yeah.
agree.
It
Lemon,
makes your
citrus,
cheese
anything,
so
anything,
fine.
Yeah.
It,
Because it melts quicker, right?
Garlic makes
The
it so
garlic.
fine. I mean, that's what you
Citrus, of
want.
course.
And that's our shop zester.
Yeah, this is our shop zester. I have one at home. But so I'm just gonna go ahead and start taking the pasta right out of the sauce, or right out of the water, and right into the sauce. You could strain the pasta if you'd like. This is just quicker for the
Yeah.
on camera. I have a little spider here.
I love the word spider.
I stole this from my mom if you're watching.
Hi, Debbie.
Thanks.
But
Thanks for watching.
Sarah's awesome.
but you can find these anywhere.
Tell me about you chose rigatoni. Would you choose something else? Could you do what else would you choose for this?
Something like this. I would say choose pasta that will allow you to just like soak up more sauce. Like this has some ridges in it, and then on top of that it also has the tubes in there, so the cheese and the sauce is just gonna get stuck in there. I do really like, what's the other one? Like rotini, like the spirals, those trap sauce really. Yeah.
Penne.
Oh, Ziti, what about like little orichettis?
Whoa,
Would that work?
Yeah, no.
Seashells? Like Does anyone do the shells?
I love the shells, yes. I love anything that captures the sauce so that you like,
more sauce.
you know.
That's really what you want. You want to capture the sauce. You could, I mean, in a pinch, if all you had was spaghetti noodles, you could do that. It's
My
just
mom
so
was a
different.
spaghetti woman.
Spaghetti.
Well, we always had
all the
spaghetti
way.
and meatballs every Sunday.
Spaghetti
She was
and meatballs.
Italian,
Listen
so
to your
we had the
accent.
spaghetti and the meatballs.
Spaghetti and a meatballs. Okay, but what about? I had a question. It's escaped me.
I'm just going to break this whole thing in there.
Yeah, why
Oh,
not?
keep going.
There's nothing.
I
love
gave
it.
you way too big of a piece,
Smell.
just so you know, so people
You
could
can eat it.
Smell is
use what they
divine.
need.
Oh, that's so good.
Meatballs, pasta. It's coming back. No, it's gone.
Tortilla, here's shells.
Gnocchi?
No,
Did you do gnocchi? Did this sauce on a gnocchi?
Yeah, why not? So as I'm
Oh, I have my question. Fresh pasta versus dried pasta.
You can make
opinion.
fresh pasta.
like, yeah.
I've never made fresh pasta, so I don't even know.
It's kind of super easy,
Uh-huh.
but it does take a little extra time, but it's kind of easy. I don't know, opinion.
I like fresh pasta if I'm going to be making like ravioli or something.
Okay.
If I'm just making noodles, I'm just going to buy noodles.
Yeah.
But if I want to make ravioli or make something a little bit nicer,
You want the fresh. You
I
want the
like to make the fresh. Yeah. I guess there are sheets of pasta you can buy.
You have a little,
Of course I do.
oh, of course she does, yes.
Sir, you've been adopted to come live in Carol's house in their kitchen.
Oh,
They have a spare
That's pretty funny.
All right, I think this is ready to go. I'm just gonna finish it off with the parsley. Like I said, I just love the big leaves of parsley.
Yeah, I'm with
so-
you, the big leaves. I think that's stunning and delicious. And I think I'm a rabbit because I would just eat the bundle of parsley. I think it's
Yes,
awesome.
a lot of people just use parsley for a garnish, but I think it has
No,
great
I think the flavor is amazing.
I like including big parsley leaves in salad,
Yes.
just along with the leaves. And
Yeah.
Look, this is so pretty. You can just take this to the table like this.
And just have the forks in there and just go. It's like a fondue or something.
Do you just eat out of the pots at home all the time?
I think Rachel has a good.
Are you ready?
Oh, yes, she's gonna
ready.
get it. Yeah. No, give it to Rachel here.
Let's see.
We have a hidden diva back here. We're gonna give plates to too.
Just like from the top of the refrigerator.
Here, I'm gonna do like ladle spoon action here.
I'm still working on the salad, but I'm still really drinking wine.
Well, you have to try the pasta with it.
Well, of course.
One more.
That's. Yeah.
And I mean, this is one of those dishes where you could go light on the cheese and then take the hunk of cheese to the table,
Oh, and just grate some
and
fresh
people
on
can
top.
grate some fresh on top.
Thank you. Let's get.
I don't know if they can see the pan at all. If I can come a little bit closer, but it's just like so. It's a thick sauce. I don't know. Careful, it's on. You want to use this?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Like you can see how thick it turned out. Like I could use a little bit more pasta water, but I think the creaminess and the thickness
It's
of
good.
the cheese is really nice.
What about the level of pepper? It's just a taste, right?
Just a
But you would
taste.
just really, you could add more, you can't take away. So always do little by little,
Oh, it's
right?
little by little, yeah.
Yeah, because you
I
could
gave
never
you
take away.
an amount that I thought would be good, but it's to taste.
Yeah. I love pepper. Like to me, cacio pepe it should be pepe a cacio because it needs a lot of pepper.
Yeah.
You know, I love that.
Oh, I can't wait to eat. I'm so hungry.
Who's gonna try it first?
Me. Oh God, I mean.
Do you need more cheese?
No. I can taste the moliterno.
I feel like it's gonna be hard to not taste the pepper.
Yeah, you can't. It's all moliterno. I mean, but it's good. I love that. But I get pepper too. And I don't mind that I like the chunks of pepper. So I'm a chunk girl. So I don't
Okay.
mind that it's almost, if I get a whole peppercorn, I'm okay with that.
You do get a lot of heat from the pepper,
You do.
but in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
And heat from maybe the cheese too. In the cheese heat that you talk about. It's just, it's all good.
Yeah, a little bit of that,
Mhm.
the spice
Yeah.
from the moliterno.
It's just spice. It's just heat.
I take one more.
Yeah. We need a
It's
plate for
so
us.
creamy, and you know, there's no cream in this. It's cheese and pasta water, and you could certainly add cream, but I don't think.
You don't need to add
You
cream.
don't need to.
The cheese itself has good cream. I look at the, I can see the strands of cream.
The string of cheese there.
Exactly, the string. So when would you add pasta water? Is it when it's too clumpy, or like when do you add more pasta water?
Yes, if you find, I mean, my cheese is clumping a little bit. We were just like eager to eat, but
Yeah.
I could have.
But you could you do that now? Like could
Yeah,
you?
I could certainly add a little bit at this
Mhm.
point. I would turn the heat back on my stove. I could turn it off. But then you just, and then you stir the pasta together, and then the pasta will start to, the cheese will start to melt again
Bind.
and create more of a sauce.
Yummy.
But I do really like just the thickness of the cheese clinging to the pasta.
Yeah,
like
me
I'm not
too.
necessarily looking for a saucy pasta. I feel like the
Yeah.
cheese has enough flavor. You don't need it to be super
Swimming
saucy.
in it again,
Yeah.
like the salad. I don't care for it to be swimming in it. I like it to just be on it. Yeah, so perfect.
Yeah, so even just this couple seconds of stirring it, the pasta water has started to thin out the sauce that I had.
And now it's coating again all the noodles.
Yeah,
This shape of noodle is awesome.
isn't it so pretty?
Oh my
Wow,
God.
delicious.
I
so,
made
so
it,
good.
when I tested it, I made it with pesto. And that was really good. So good, huh?
Oh my gosh.
Got a noodle on the ground here.
Delicious.
Thank you.
Good job, Sarah.
Wait,
Yeah.
I haven't tried it with the wine.
Oh.
No, try it with a wine. But cheers, everyone out there. Everyone's loving it. Too good. It's amazing in here. Rachel. Hello, Rachel. Rachel says it smells amazing. We need smell-o-vision. Who's going to invent that? Because
You
that.
think they would have it by now. I mean, we
You
have
think they would
self-driving
have it.
cars. Where's our smell-o-vision?
Where's smell-o-vision? Because if it's smell-o-vision, it'd be good. Yeah. But it's really good, Carol. It's the best. It's delicious. I gotta say, I get the heat. I think you're right, both from the pepper and the cheese.
Mhm.
You get the heat, and then the sweet wine, good together.
I mean, really.
Delicious.
So, if we weren't chatting here and you were cooking this for your friends or your family, in the time it takes to cook the pasta, you could prepare the salad and prepare the dessert.
Done.
Right.
That's it.
Done.
I mean, 15 minutes cooking time, maybe 10-minute heat up time on the pasta. You have dinner, 3 courses ready in 25 minutes. This is the kind of meal that I like. It's so simple, so delicious, but it feels elevated because of the cheese.
Our fan Christine. So people that don't know Christine,
Oh, Christine.
yes, we miss you, Christine. Come back to California.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Only the divas could execute such a delicious meal.
Cheers to you.
Cheers. Cheers to you, original diva.
Yes, that's right. She was original diva.
I know, I think we were
It's good
excited
to
to
be a
get
diva.
these dinners back.
Dinner's back. So can we talk a little, Sarah? Because
About the dinners. So, wow, what is it? 2 years ago now, we started our cup of dinners. We, at first, did them every season. So 4 dinners a year. We allowed 12 guests for a 6-course, cheese-focused dinner with wine pairings with each course. We worked so hard on these dinners, put so much time and planning and effort into these dinners and creating the perfect meal. We did an Italian dinner, a French dinner, Spanish. We just did our all-time favorites. We did a decadent dinner. Like, it was so, just like a nice intimate dinner. We had 12 people. We sat family style. A lot of the meal was served family style, which we'll probably never be able to do again, but
no, we will
one day,
someday.
Sunday, with your private party maybe.
Yes.
But we, in March, we had to cancel a dinner because we had one dinner. The dinners got so popular that we then had to do 2 every season because the tickets were selling out so quick. We were able to sell 24 tickets and do 2 dinners, 2 weekends in a row. So we had our French dinner in March. We had our first dinner. Everyone loved it, was happy. Then, COVID hit, things started shutting down. We had to cancel the second dinner, which was a huge bummer, and we've just been really missing the cooking, the drinking, the talking, all of this stuff. So this was this was a way to do it. I think our dinners brought out a lot more than we expected. People from our first dinner still come to more dinners, and people from our first dinner made friends and still go out and see each other because they sat family style at our dinner.
Yes, they made friends at the
They
dinner.
made friends at the dinner.
That's what this. That's
That
what
was
it's
our
all
goal.
about.
That was our goal. We want everyone to feel like they're coming to our table, being our friends and family, eating and
Italian
stuff.
style. Yeah.
Italian style.
Yep.
That's how it started, Italian style.
This
but
is great. This
Yeah.
is fantastic.
but you haven't even
Can I
had
have
your
some
dessert
more?
yet.
She's like, look at that whole pan.
We have a whole pan there. I'll take another helping.
What do we think will be the next one? We have questions about the next one. It cannot be before the holidays because holidays here we
Yeah.
come. It's November. Happy November.
I mean,
Yeah.
what do people want to see?
Ah.
Give us your input.
Oh yeah. If you have a vote for what
Yeah.
This
This is so delicious.
What
I'm
you
sure
would like
you guys
to
are
see.
all enjoying this as much as
They
I am.
are. Yeah,
I thought
everybody's
that it was a
delicious.
simple meal. I think we'll probably stick to a simple
I think so.
meal.
Yeah, simple's best.
But yeah, what would be easy to do virtually? Would you be interested in
Look at that.
picking up a few things from us and then having an ingredient list to go purchase yourself? That's an option too. Something like I really like making meatballs, and I feel like I make really good meatballs. But that's a lot of ingredients that we can't necessarily get to give you. But
Yeah.
if we gave you the cheese and the recipe and there was an ingredient list you could go to the store and get, would that be something that everyone was
Would it
interested in?
be?
Because we could do more
Yeah.
like that.
So a question came up, Carol, can you do simple French? Is French ever simple?
If you have a cheese plate for your dessert and you
Cheese plate for appetizer, cheese plate for main course, and cheese plate for dessert.
Well, so our French dinner we just had, or passed up. We did mushroom soup. That was fairly simple. We did coco vin. Takes a long time to cook, but fairly simple. What else did we do?
I don't remember. It's so long ago.
Maybe that was March.
It feels like it was years
Eons
ago.
ago, yeah.
Oh, we did like a classic French salad. I think we could make a French dinner work. I think we could.
Yeah, so maybe French, Mediterranean. I mean, anything Mediterranean, right? Like the
Yeah.
Greek would, right? Kind of the salad type stuff, and a grill something, grill
Yeah.
an octopus, grill something.
But what we
Lamb.
we could do, if anyone's thumbs up if you're interested, let us know. Like a fondue cooking class.
Oh yes,
Show
what do we
them
think of fondue? Let's talk about fondue.
Yes, show them how to prep all of the ingredients, how to pair, and then how to create a fondue. I mean, we could do that for the
Yeah.
holidays. We could try and get it in.
She said
I said it.
she said
It's
it.
our
I
fault.
didn't. Okay, we all have this on.
Don't come and talk to me. Talk to me.
I think we could do it. That one would be so simple. It's so
Fondue.
simple.
All
Fondue
right.
is so simple, but not a lot of people know how to make it or what makes good fondue, because I think here's my issue with fondue.
Okay.
People Google what should go in fondue, and they won't stray from what that is. I
Yeah.
have very personal thoughts about what is good in a fondue, and it's nothing that you read on the internet. And I want to be able to share that opinion of like, this is what I think is so good. Please try it.
I'm
Her
gonna write
fondue
this
is
down.
really good because I've had it.
So I like this because you're right. It's always Gruyere, Emmental.
Emmental
Yes.
and Vacherin Free Bourgeois.
Yeah. And you could use Schnebelhorn, which we experienced.
Hollerhocker.
Hollerhocker. That's what I was
Hollerhocker.
going to say. One time in a
Fun
pinch,
cheese.
Appenzeller.
we
Appenzeller.
used Memoir, a truffle gouda.
Why not?
Because
In a fondue.
Why not?
In a number. Oh,
There you go.
I give that a thumbs up.
That's
And not just you would typically pour, dip a fondue like a potato in it or a piece of bread. But there's other options.
there's other options.
There's other options.
Fruit, you get the salty, savory, sweet,
I'll give you a hint.
dried fruit.
Apricots.
One of my favorites.
I think you could even do dessert items dipped in cheese fondue, still going back to the sweet and savory thing. Like, why couldn't you dip like a piece of angel food cake in fondue?
Stop.
Why couldn't you?
Oh,
You could.
man.
You could. You should.
You know it needs chocolate fondue when you have cheese, so
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, we've got good. Yeah, fondue's getting good.
it's getting
It's a
colder. A little
It's
bit.
gonna get colder. It's gonna dip below 70 here at some point.
We have a heat wave next week. Back in
It's so funny because our girl Rachel over here is new to California. And she's
Where?
like,
Oh, from Philadelphia.
she's like, is it always like this?
Pennsylvania?
It's freezing in the morning, but then
Oh.
it's like 75 during the day.
Exactly, like it's just
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
California.
it kind of is.
You need a jacket if you go out at night.
Uh-huh.
Jacket at 60 degrees. I know. It's
And that's why I'm
pathetic.
dressed
It's
with my sweater
pathetic.
shirt.
What is this? It was 85 today, Dawn.
I know, but I knew I would be
Who in
leaving
the air
here.
conditioning?
We're in the air conditioning. I'm sitting on here.
We're just saying. Just saying.
Hey, you know
Yeah,
what?
fondue raclette.
Yes.
So raclette's similar to fondue. It's melted cheese.
We could put
Yeah.
them all together though. We could bring out the half
The half
wheel.
is
We have a
stunning.
half wheel raclette melter that you
You've
can
never seen
rent if you ever want to.
Somebody did rent it this weekend.
Someone has already pre-rented our raclette machine for Thanksgiving and
Oh.
Christmas.
And Christmas.
But we have plenty more, don't worry. But so you take a whole half wheel of raclette. It's sitting under the melter. You pull it out, and it's so impressive. You take the scraper and just like scrape this.
Can you pull a half wheel real quick?
We don't even have a
We don't
half
have
wheel.
wheel. What about that apple right there? Close.
We sold a bunch of raclette this weekend.
You did.
Yes, I rented the machine.
It's
Yesterday.
not closer. It's close enough.
Oh,
But
Give you an idea.
You have it under this melting thing right here. You pull it out, tilt it, and you take your knife and scrape this whole layer of melty cheese. Google it. You'll find videos everywhere. It's just gonna make you melt. And you put it onto potatoes and meats and cornichon and mustard, and it's just the perfect fall meal.
Has anybody ever laid under the raclette machine? Just straight in.
No, but I've laid in a tanning bed before. It's the same thing. Is it the same thing as a tanning bed?
It should be. It should be. Oh, you guys have to Google. There was a cute little like Korean boy that did a cheese. You know the chocolate fondue fountains?
Uh-huh.
Tried it with cheese.
Oh.
Hilarious.
How cute.
Cute. It didn't work.
Oh, it didn't work.
It didn't work out, but it's cute.
Yeah,
it's
cheese
cute and it's
gotta be
delicious.
heaty.
Yeah.
It's-
So raclette, fondue. Ooh, so in the fondue, anyone opinions? Here's another question. This could be either opinion. In a fondue, white wine versus cherry brandy. We have a question.
Both.
Both. I'm with Sarah.
Both.
What do you think?
No, yeah, but
It
White
brings
wine is
different
the
things
liquid,
to-
right?
Yeah, white wine is your liquid you need to make the fondue. Cherry brandy is your flavoring,
The finish.
the finish. I say both.
Yep, me too. Mm-hmm.
Let me grab our final wine while you guys chat.
oh, thanks,
Yeah.
Sarah. I'm slacking on my job. Oh no.
White wine and
I don't know what I did with my champagne glass. Oh,
You can use
no.
your white wine.
It's all
That's
good.
okay. This
You
is
probably
fine.
smashed it.
I smashed it
White
down.
wine and cherry brandy. And
I say both.
I've used schnapps. You can use anything to top off the fondue. Calvados. If you're an apple fan, that is apple liqueur. Calvados. So that's the that
Whoa.
sound
Where was
is
the knife?
best.
Why didn't you take the knife?
Savoring. We need
Come on,
that
Sarah.
too. If we're gonna do a fondue class, we have to savor at it.
You practice that. I'll get
I'll
my
practice
practice.
I'll practice a savoring.
Okay, yeah. I'm probably just like, oh
Oh,
god.
our lovely person, Rachel, is going to bring me my champagne glass. Thank you, Rachel.
So to finish our dessert, if you're not already full on
Everything else?
everything else we've had,
So delicious.
this is, I love to finish a meal with bubbles.
So
Personal
you'll start
opinion.
and finish?
Yes. So that is actually something we've talked a lot about with doing our pop-up dinners is do we start or finish with bubbles? Because we do 6 courses, we really do 6 wines.
6.
6 wines. Everyone Ubers home, don't worry.
Yeah, that should be part of it.
But I like to start with bubbles because it's so light and I feel like it pairs with everything. Personally.
Yeah.
Then I like to finish with bubbles because same thing, I like to finish light. I don't want to finish heavy, especially with what we chose to eat for dessert. I want light. This is a new wine that we got in stock. It's from Cellars 33.
Mhm.
It's their Cryptogram series. which I didn't really know what this was, but there's a little box on here that has all these numbers, and whichever way you go, up, down, left, right, diagonal,
33.
it equals 33.
It's like that little game we used to play as a kid with the numbers.
Yeah,
You
well,
gotta-
Yes, you slid the tiles.
Mhm.
Is this a California?
It is a California.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is, I believe it is made in the method Champignon.
Yes.
Ah, very good. The champenois is, although Californians cannot call bubbles champagne,
Nope.
they can make it in the same method
Yep.
that the French do to make champagne.
And
Yeah.
they call it
Champenois.
sparkling.
And they call it sparkling.
Yes. It is actually
And I get
Chardonnay,
it.
Pinot Noir, and Pinot Gris grapes.
Oh, this is, okay,
Yes.
so 3 grapes in
3
this one.
grapes in this one. Yes.
Okay, very good.
So,
Oh, so
Make
good.
a little dessert for myself.
Okay, now, Rachel's gonna have to help me with this. This
yeah,
is,
no, this.
oh my God, but whipped, we have a question though
Yes,
from Ken.
yes.
To store the extra cheese, Sarah, best way to store it. How did you?
If
do
you
have a
can,
cheese paper or?
I would wrap it back in the paper we gave you. If you don't have it, just crumpled it up and threw it away in the trash. You could always use parchment paper. We also sell the blue paper, the cheese paper, if you wanted more. But like we were talking about the vegetables earlier, you want your cheese to breathe. You don't want to suffocate it. I wouldn't recommend vacuum sealing. If you have a large amount of cheese and you need to vacuum seal, go for it. But I personally would not vacuum seal cheese because it just,
Doesn't let it breathe.
you'll taste it. Being like we
Yeah.
have tasted so much cheese side by side
Mhm.
all the time, and we only wrap our cheese in plastic in the shop because we're constantly unwrapping
Yes.
it. Like there's pieces of
Yes,
cheese that
true.
get
And we have
unwrapped
to
like
have
4 or
visual.
5 times
Yeah.
a day.
Mhm.
So it's not wrapped in plastic for very long. But so you start to taste the plastic.
Yes,
And it leaves
you
a
do.
film
I 100% agree.
on the
You
cheese.
do,
Yeah.
definitely.
100% agree.
I agree with
Yeah,
that
so
too.
parchment paper, wax paper.
Do you need one?
Good
I just
questions.
no, I'm beauty. Oh my God, I'm so
I'll make
full.
you one. I have another one.
You
I
can
know
share
you
mine
do.
with me.
I will share because
You
it's
share.
too big. It's
And
too.
here I am, I put this bread out for
But
us.
you know what?
I got this
What I'm eyeballing is Sarah's pan of extra pasta. I'm a savory hound. I can't stop.
But so I just
So
cut
let's-
this in half if you want to
the
see.
layer. That's
Yeah.
a good picture.
Oh, I don't know if I
Here,
can see
zoom,
all
hold
this.
it, zoom it to them.
Let me
Like
zoom
the
in.
layers of the pastry, the big amount of cheese, and then the chocolate on top.
That's a good ratio, though.
I think
it's
so.
the perfect ratio
Delicious.
of puff pastry
No, that's
to
yours.
whipped Saint Angel to a topping of chocolate covered oranges, which to me, I'm gonna say, is
This is one of our aha moments, I think.
Another one of those.
It's
those
one of
dumb.
our aha moments. We were like brainstorming about how are we going to do this.
and you think you need to make it more complicated than it is, than it should be. Like this,
It's
like
so
I said, it
simple.
can be so simple. And why do we complicate things when that alone, you guys, you don't need to complicate it.
Yeah.
You don't need to melt things, reduce things, twist things, swirl things. Just stack these things and they're delicious.
Yeah.
When you have the best yummy things all together.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's what you're starting with. That's it. Yummy puff pastry, yummy triple cream brie, and yummy chocolate covered
Chocolate-covered
oranges.
oranges.
You don't need anything more.
No. And
Yeah.
the wine, that's why we chose the wine. The bubbles in general pair perfectly with bries. The thick, creamy,
talk about
velvety
that.
texture of a brie is offset by the lightness of the bubbles.
The bubbles. I talk about it like scrubbing bubbles, like because you know the brie coats your tongue, but then the little bubbles like come scrub, like, right?
Yeah,
So
totally.
here's the Cellar 33. Everybody with their little what did you call it? I don't know. The puzzle,
Oh,
the
cryptogram.
cryptogram that adds up to 33 in every direction. Really, that's a crazy thing, but I like it. Is that true?
This is delicious.
This is true. Okay.
I was actually very impressed with how nicely the brie whipped up in the food processor.
So simple. And
I mean,
you just threw it in.
You
The
would never
rind
know
in.
that there's rind in it.
You would never.
There's
That's.
no texture, there's no
completely
grainy,
fixed.
So
there's,
good.
it's just smooth.
But it probably adds a little bit of a bite to it because the cream. Otherwise, it would taste just like whipped cream to me.
Yes.
It's not on gel, but you add the rind and you get a little bite to it. A little flavor, right?
Yeah,
No.
the funk of the rind a little bit.
A little bit. But
Still
then
really
still,
buttery,
Mm-hmm.
super buttery.
Yeah. So
then the
triple
chocolate?
cream. Yeah, the chocolate. Chocolate and triple cream bries. That's like peanut butter and like Reese's, like peanut butter and chocolate.
There's
There's
a
things
piece
that go
of it.
together, right? Huh?
You gotta try it.
We were talking, if you wanted to elevate this, pour a little Grand Marnier over the top.
Oh, the Grand Marnier.
Grand Marnier is the orange liqueur.
The orange
right?
liqueur.
Yep.
What about raspberry liqueur?
Oh, certainly.
Oh yeah, raspberry and orange.
Thank you. What's the raspberry one?
Chambord.
Cointreau.
Chambord.
Thank you. Cointreau is the orange.
Cointreau's orange.
The Chambord is the
Chambord.
raspberry.
But yeah, you could certainly elevate this a little bit more.
Coffee liqueur.
Coffee liqueur would even go really well with the orange and the chocolate too.
So good.
Just pour it over the St. Angel. It soaks into the puff pastry. I'm not a huge fan of orange in general, chocolate
What?
orange. I know. So,
Okay, sir. But
but
you like
this,
it?
yes. The oranges are, they're like more fresh tasting. They're not like that super candy orange. Like, I don't know if it's just.
I think it's fresh
quality.
oranges. I agree.
Yeah, they taste more fresh.
So
That's
good.
Yeah,
why
they're
I
not
like these.
dry, scrunchy oranges.
This is really yummy.
It's really yummy.
Really, really.
So
yummy.
Ken asked about storing cheese. You know, we talked about the paper.
Yes.
We put it in wax paper, parchment, or this blue cheese wrap. In the refrigerator or out. So the soft ones you got to put in the refrigerator because again they'll ripen faster and go bad faster at room temperature. But the hard cheeses, they love. If you have a wine cellar, if you're lucky enough, Ken, to have a wine cellar, put your cheese in your hard cheeses in the wine cellar. They're
I
happy
think
as
you need
clams.
slightly chilled.
Slightly.
Not like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a nice, normal,
Yep.
air conditioned room.
Mm-hmm.
Not if it's hot in your
Mhm.
house. But
Yeah.
Parmesan can sit out. Gouda,
Oh.
everything aged can sit out
Mhm.
on your counter. Because, like, we go back to this all the time. Cheese tastes better at room temperature.
Yeah, it does. It's amazing. Yeah.
I was gonna taste it with the red wine too. Don just said.
Oh,
same
but the
thing.
red would be good, but the bubbles are good. I mean, both are
It's like
good.
candy right there.
Yeah.
Rachel, did you eat it all?
Oh yeah.
We have another diva. We have another diva joining us tonight, and yes, she liked it
She
too.
She's a student tonight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
so
doing her
good.
first cheese class.
10 stars.
10 stars. It's so good. I want to eat the rest of that pasta. I want to say thank you all for out
She
there.
knew
Yes,
eyeballing
yeah.
that pasta.
I am. I just am. I am. I will eat my weight in pasta or sushi. Those are my two things. Or cheese.
You can't put
We
cheese
know
on
this, I mean.
sushi.
You can't, but you
No,
should.
you
Should you?
Shouldn't.
No.
You shouldn't.
No.
That's another episode.
That's another day.
That's another day, everyone. We've kept you so long, but thank you for hanging
No,
in.
this is
We
really
got
good.
great
Yeah.
questions,
Yeah.
answers. I think
Yeah.
good.
Any requests for a themed dinner, send them over either to Gina or to me in the email.
Yeah.
We'll come up with another one.
We will come up with another one. info@venissimo.com will get you your. You will be heard. Just send us a message there.
We do all these
Dawn,
virtuals.
Sarah, and I think the fondue is in order. Fondue
Fondue's
raclette.
coming.
It's
Yeah.
melted cheese season, so I think that's what's going to be next. We do not have a date, but the next Wino Wednesday is coming up this week. Election selection, and I'm gonna say we're gonna be bipartisan here. We're gonna say whatever side you're on, it's gonna be delicious because we've got freaking great American cheeses on this platter, and
Yum.
it's this Wednesday.
What did you say? No matter what side you're on, you're gonna need a reason.
You're gonna
to
need a
drink.
drink.
That's right. We need a reason to drink.
And we have a really great Pinot Noir picked
Oh
for the class.
yes, it's
So-
spectacular.
Yeah, it's from Baxter. We love
Oh,
their
yeah,
lines.
Baxter's
We
really
usually
good.
carry their Carignan, which we love. This Baxter is a little bit more affordable for everyday drinking. It is
So good.
so delicious. So,
Yeah. So cheese friendly and
Yeah.
delicious American cheeses. So that's next up. Stay tuned for the next fondue raclette
Yes.
episode for the pop-up dinner. Sarah, thank you. Dawn,
Thank you. Thank you.
Everyone else, thank you
Thank
for the
you.
support and stay safe, stay healthy, and see you next time. Yeah.
And cheers.
Take care, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers always.
Oh, that's fantastic. I like doing these.
I like doing them too.
Right, because you can sit and eat.
You can say it anytime.
Now I felt like that the